intellectual property. Some of you might be wondering, well, what is it? It is any unique product of the human intellect that has commercial value. So, for example, paintings, music, playwrights, these are all considered to be intellectual property. I live on the beautiful island of Grenada, and there are many different forms of intellectual properties here. The question is, are all these intellectual properties protected? Hmm. Well, let's go find out, shall we? I headed down to the Spiceland Mall in Grand Anse and visited the Art and Soul Gallery. There, I met with a well-known self-taught Grenadian artist by the name of Suzanne Means. She was able to tell me the type of protection for her intellectual property, as well as why she chose that form of protection.
I am Susan Maines and I'm a visual artist. I'm primarily a painter but also work in the areas of video and photography. For my copyright protection, I use the international law that protects works of art. It used to be that you would need to take a picture of the work, put it in an envelope, mail it to yourself, and then don't open it. And then in case there was a case that was brought, you would have proof that this was your work. All of that is not necessary anymore. Um, the copyright on original work belongs to the artist. Only exception is if the artist signs away his copyright to another person or entity. This is something that is not well understood in the Caribbean. I've had many cases of people infringing my copyright. First of all, taking a picture of my work, blowing it up, and selling it as a copy of their own. That's happened here in Grenada. I've had people just copy the paintings themselves with another painting, take a direct image and copy it, and that's also copyright infringement. Another form of copyright infringement is appropriating the work without seeking permission. For example, someone coming to an art exhibit, seeing a performance that they liked, and then taking it and refilming it and putting it out there as their own work. All of that falls in the line of intellectual property. And so that is the kind of infringement that we are seeing. Unfortunately, to be able to really go after those cases, it takes a lot of money. It's a civil case, so myself as an artist would have to hire a lawyer and have the lawyer bring a case against the person who was doing the copying. So I have never done that myself. I do have photographer friends who have sued because their images were used without their permission by big corporations. And it's something that needs a lot of attention in Grenada and the Caribbean to protect our creative minds. You always get somebody who says, oh, let me show your work and it'll be good exposure for you. We don't need exposure. We need to be paid for our work. So that's the state of copyright in Grenada at this time. Just as a bit of advice to artists, always put your name on the back of the painting or photograph or work of art. Put your name, your address, like a contact for you, like an email address, your phone number, and the date. The date is very important to say when you created that work. It doesn't have to go on the front, it can go on the back, but that way the work of art is identified with you and you protect your rights.
So if you're a painter like Susan Maines, it's important that you know how valuable your intellectual property is. And for that reason, you have to protect it. I'm Daniel George, and the pleasure has been all mine.